Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Welcome to day 162 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. How willing are you to suffer persecution, ridicule, contempt, humiliation for Christ? Are you willing to stand against the popular culture and do God's will and suffer all those things? Or does that thought terrify you, to make people mad at you by your beliefs and your standing on principle, on Christian principle? If that terrifies you, and if that is something that you are uneasy doing, it's something that definitely should be prayed about. We know that Sister Faustina is willing to take on a lot of things to do God's will, but it's not easy, and that's something that we have to remember. Doing God's will is not going to be easy. Most likely will get us a lot of enemies, and it will not be popular with the world. So today we are looking at Notebook 2, numbers 745 through 749. The Feast of Christ the King, October 25th, 1936. During Holy Mass, I was so enveloped in the great interior fire of God's love and the desire to save souls that I do not know how to express it. I feel I am all aflame. I shall fight all evil with the weapon of mercy. I am being burned up by the desire to save souls. I traverse the world's length and breadth and venture as far as its ultimate limits and its widest lands to save souls. I do this through prayer and sacrifice. I want every soul to glorify the mercy of God, for each one experiences the effects of that mercy on himself. The saints in heaven worship the mercy of the Lord. I want to worship it even now, here on earth, and to spread devotion to it in the way that God demands of me. I have understood that at certain and most difficult moments I shall be alone, deserted by everyone, and that I must face all the storms and fight with all the strength of my soul, even with those from whom I expected to get help. But I am not alone, because Jesus is with me, and with him I fear nothing. I am well aware of everything, and I know what God is demanding of me. Suffering, contempt, ridicule, persecution, and humiliation will be my constant lot. I know no other way. For sincere love and gratitude, this is my path, marked out by the footprints of Jesus. My Jesus, my strength and my only hope, in you alone is all my hope. My trust will not be frustrated. The day of renewal of vows, Friday, October 30th, 1936. God's presence pervades my soul, not only in a spiritual way, but I feel it in a physical way also. November 2nd, 1936. In the evening, after Vespers, I went to the cemetery in the Sisters' Park. I had been praying for a while when I saw one of our sisters who said to me, "We are in the chapel." I understood that I was to go to the chapel and there pray and gain the indulgences. The next day, during Holy Mass, I saw 3 white doves soaring from the altar toward heaven. I understood that not only the 3 souls that I saw had gone to heaven, but also many others who had died beyond the confines of our institute. Oh, how good and merciful is the Lord. Conversation with Father Andres at the end of the retreat. I was greatly surprised by one thing that I noticed during each conversation in the course of which I had asked advice and direction of Father Andres, and it is this. I noticed that Father Andres answered all my questions about things which the Lord has asked of me so clearly and with such assurance that it was as though he were experiencing it all himself. Oh, my Jesus, if only there were more spiritual directors of this kind, souls under such guidance would very quickly reach the summits of sanctity and would not waste such great graces. I give unceasing thanks to God for so great a grace, namely, that in his great goodness he has deigned to place these pillars of light along the path of my spiritual life. They light my way so that I do not go astray or become delayed in my journey toward close union with the Lord. I have a great love for the Church, which educates souls and leads them to God. One thing I know about human beings is that we do not like to have people not like us. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody in some way cares what other people think. And to a certain degree, we should care what other people think. Because if we're being an absolute jerk, or if we're doing utterly rude things, or if we're saying things that are utterly inappropriate, we should care if people come and tell us that we're doing these things, and we should care enough that we want to change so that we can be better for people. We shouldn't make people put up with our insufferable selves. However, when it comes to religion, a lot of people really struggle with staying true and loyal to the principles and teachings of Christianity. And I mean the true principles and teachings of Christianity. Following God's will, not reading the Bible how we want to interpret it so that it makes our lives easier, but staying the course and being obedient to Christ and His church. There are so many people who struggle with that because it draws enemies. And it is just so much easier. It is so much easier to just go along with the world. And because it's easier to go along with what the world says is the right way and the good way and the best way, we try to mold Christianity around that. And, okay, I still want to be Christian, but I don't like everybody over here yelling at me because they're calling me a bigot and outdated and all these names that always get slung at people. I don't want to be called those things. So I want to keep my Christianity, but I don't want to create enemies. So I'm going to just mold Christianity to kind of look like the secular culture, and then nobody will get mad at me, but I can still call myself a Christian. And that just does not work. It just does not work. And all we're doing is following our own self-will. And the reason is because it's hard to be persecuted. It's hard to take humiliations and ridicule and contempt and stand for the teachings of Christ and His church. The true teachings of Christ and His church. Gosh, I'm telling you, it would be just so easy to go along with the popular culture and the secular culture. It would just make things so much easier. Because a lot of people would be like, oh, Amy, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if your beliefs are really Christian, but nobody's going to bug me that much. But the progressive, very secular, liberal way of thinking, I would get applauded and pats on the back, and everybody would think I was just so great and I was doing Christianity the right way. But that's just not true. It's not true Christianity. Christ said we would be hated by the world because of Him. And He was hated because He did things that were contrary to what people wanted and did. And so, Sister Faustina here, she is a great, great example. She knows that she is going to suffer these things: contempt, ridicule, persecution, humiliation. She said, they are going to be my constant lot. But there is no other way. There is no other way. We have to do God's will, and we have to be obedient to Christ and His church. There's just no other way. And we have to be brave enough and courageous enough to withstand the figurative rocks that are going to be thrown our way. We just do. We have to be people of courage. And, Sister Faustina, she strives day in and day out to live out God's will. Not her own will, but God's will. And she strives day in and day out to do the hard thing, not the easy thing, not the easy way out, not the I feel good about doing this. No, she does it even when it's hard. And what a great example of truly living out our Catholic faith in the right way. And we can't be fearful to do that. Because honestly, if we do it the world's way, we inspire no one. No one's going to be drawn to Christ because we look no different. And what would be the reason to do it? And so we have to be committed to taking on whatever Christ sends our way in order to live out our Christian faith, in the right way, which is following Christ and the teachings of the Catholic Church. Because Christ gave the Catholic Church to us, the Holy Spirit guides her, and if the Holy Spirit is guiding her, then what the Church teaches is truth. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 163. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.